"You're not from around here, are you?" Deputy Carter's voice was soaked in suspicion, casual, condescending, calculated. Seconds later, Tracy Monroe felt the hard metal of her own SUV slam into her back. No warrant. No warning. Just a badge, and the illusion of power. 3 minutes after that, her car was in flames. On the sidewalk, a piece of cardboard. 3 words, burned into her memory. "Stay in your lane." But they didn't know who they were threatening. Tracy wasn't just passing through rural Kansas. She was the FBI's South Central director, and this wasn't just retaliation. This was a federal reckoning. It was the kind of heat that clung to your skin like syrup. Late July in Kansas, where even time felt slow. At a dusty gas station off Highway 169, the silence hummed, broken only by a slow-turning fan and the rattle of loose bolts on old signs. Tracy Monroe's black Chevy Tahoe purred into the pump lane. She stepped out, mid-50s, medium brown skin, gray zip-up jacket over a plain shirt, jeans dusty from the road. To anyone watching, she was just another tired black woman passing through Middle America. But her posture, her stillness, spoke of a kind of authority you couldn't fake. She reached for the gas handle, eyes flicking across the lot. Empty, except a rusted pickup idling near the edge. Then came the crunch of gravel. A white Dodge Charger, county sheriff logo sun-bleached and peeling, swerved in. 2 deputies stepped out fast. No greeting. No scan for danger. Just an assumption. "License and registration," barked Deputy Vince Carter. Tracy stayed calm. "Is there a reason for the stop?" Deputy Hale flanked her. "That plate says Louisiana. You're a long way from home." "I'm passing through. Just getting gas." But Carter wasn't interested in explanations. "Pop the back." "I'm sorry," Tracy replied. "Unless you have probable cause." "You got an attitude, ma'am." "I'm exercising my rights." That was it. The moment snapped. Carter shoved her hard. She hit metal. Her wrist was twisted behind her back before she could blink. "She's resisting," Hale yelled. A teenage cashier inside froze. Then lifted his phone, shaking. Tracy didn't fight. Not out of fear, but out of knowledge. She tracked their positions. Noted every movement. Every violation. "You people think you can pass through anywhere," Carter muttered, kicking at her foot. Tracy's cheek scraped concrete. Her voice was low. Controlled. "Are you done?" But they weren't. Not yet. They didn't know who she was. And that ignorance was about to cost them everything. Back on her feet but shaken, Tracy capped the gas tank with trembling hands. Her wrist ached. Her dignity was bruised. But her mind, sharp, surgical, was already 10 steps ahead. The teenage cashier emerged, phone still recording. "I got all of it. You want me to send it?" Tracy didn't smile. Just nodded once. "Send it to everyone." Inside the SUV, she didn't call 911. She opened a hidden folder on her phone labeled agency storage. The line connected in under 2 seconds. "This is Monroe," she said, voice steel. "I was assaulted by Deputies Carter and Hale. I want their body cam footage, dash recordings, IA history, complaints, and Sheriff Kellerman's signature logs. Immediately." The voice on the other end didn't question her authority. "Copy that." Within 1 hour, the teen's video hit Twitter. 2 white deputies shoving a black woman, tearing through her car, 0 warrants. By nightfall, the clip had flooded TikTok, Reddit, and national headlines. But no one, not even the FBI, had released her name. Until one tweet changed everything. A civil rights lawyer from Atlanta reposted the clip with the caption, "She's somebody. Just wait." In a dim motel 30 miles out, Tracy watched it all unfold. Her badge sat beside her untouched. She didn't need it now. She was the system. By midnight, intel from her deputy director lit up her encrypted inbox. For prior use of force complaints on Carter. 2 on Hale. All dismissed. No oversight. All signed off by one name, Sheriff Eleanor Kellerman. That was the thread. And Tracy Monroe had spent 28 years pulling threads. At 2:37 a.m., a new message arrived. A 6-month-old memo, never logged, recommending Carter be benched. Kellerman had buried it. That was the nail in the coffin. But then came the match. At 3:11 a.m., Tracy stepped outside her motel. Her SUV was in flames. The windshield shattered from the heat. Gasoline licked the air. And beneath a nearby car's wiper blade, someone had wedged a note. "Stay in your lane." She didn't blink. She picked up her phone. "Marcus," she said. "They just firebombed my vehicle." Marcus arrived 15 minutes later, hazard lights blinking, a fire extinguisher hissing in his grip. Foam swallowed the flames, but the damage was done. Her Tahoe was a smoking husk. No accident. No coincidence. "They're scared," he said, chest heaving. Tracy's eyes stayed fixed on the melted license plate. Good. By sunrise, she had filed a federal intimidation report. Photos of the scorched SUV. Accelerant residue. The cardboard threat. It all went to DOJ's Internal Threats Division. But she knew the fire wasn't just meant to scare her, it was bait. A warning to back off. To disappear. Instead, she set the trap. She leaked a false rumor through secure channels, that she'd be hand-delivering confidential documents to a federal courthouse outside Jefferson City. Then she waited. In an abandoned storage facility across from the courthouse, she stood quietly at the end of a narrow hallway. The laptop bag at her feet didn't hold files, only decoys and a tracker chip. Marcus was across the street, eyes on the monitors. Pulse steady. Recorder running. At exactly 4:37 p.m., 2 unmarked black SUVs rolled in. 3 men entered through the side entrance. No badges. No insignia. Guns not drawn, but visible. Military posture. Private muscle. The kind that doesn't ask questions. They walked toward her, eyes scanning, too confident. "You think this little show's gonna scare us?" one growled, stepping forward. Tracy didn't move. Looking for something. That's when the front door crashed open. FBI. Hands in the air. 2 federal agents burst in, rifles raised. The men froze. Cuffed. Disarmed. Hauled out. Clean. Legal. Undeniable. Tracy didn't gloat. She simply whispered into her comms, "Clip it. Send it." That night, the footage went to a trusted investigative journalist. No faces. No edits. Just shadows. Audio. And one line from a man caught on mic. "She's done." But the world saw something else. A woman who wasn't done at all. The sun hadn't yet burned through the morning mist when Tracy Monroe stepped out of a rental SUV, her posture steady despite the healing limp in her right knee. No cameras. No press. Just silence, thick with memory. She stood at the same gas station off Highway 169, repaved, repainted, sanitized by time. The rusted truck was gone. The broken pump replaced. But something new had taken root. Near Pump 3, embedded in the concrete, was a small bronze plaque. No fanfare. No ribbon. Just 7 quiet words. Here stood a woman who refused to fall. Tracy crouched slowly, fingers brushing the cool metal. Her breath caught, not with pain, but with purpose. She whispered, almost to herself. Still standing. There was no victory lap. No justice parade. But the system that once tried to break her now bore her mark. Laws were changing. Investigations had rippled through 3 states. And though the architects of corruption still scrambled behind closed doors, they now did so in the light. Tracy didn't return to the FBI. She moved freer, louder, speaking across campuses, courtrooms, conferences, reminding people that justice doesn't begin with punishment. It begins with truth. And sometimes, the most powerful revolution doesn't start in a courtroom. It starts on the pavement, where someone refuses to stay down. Her story was never about revenge. It was about reckoning. And that reckoning was far from over. Sometimes, the most powerful resistance is quiet, steady, and rooted in truth. Tracy didn't shout, but she stood firm, and in doing so, exposed a system built on silence. Her story reminds us that real change doesn't begin with anger, but with courage and clarity. If her stand moved something in you, share your thoughts below, and consider subscribing so more stories like this can keep reaching the people who need them most.